Hello and welcome to Tech and More. So, the topic today we are going to talk about is 7 principles in software testing. This is a theoretical topic, but it is one of the most frequent and most famous interview questions asked. And sadly, even experienced people are not able to respond to this particular question in a very good way. And even if they do not have a lot of knowledge around it. So the intent here is to well verse you with all the testing principles in in a brief manner. Without wasting any more time, let's straight away jump to the first principle, which is exhaustive testing is not possible. Now, there are two pointers written on the screen. You can have a read at them, but my job here is to explain as easily as possible. So exhaustive testing is not possible basically means exhaustive means that complete, that is 100%, is testing is not possible. It means that even if you try testing with all the possible inputs that there can be, then also it doesn't mean that the application can be tested 100% or can be tested for each and every possible test case, right? This is principle number one in software testing, that is exhaustive testing is impossible. You cannot test an application with every possible test case there can be in the on the planet, right? That is number one. Number two is early testing. So as we hear, earlier the better, right? So basically it means that earlier you detect the bug in the complete development cycle or in the complete IT cycle, the better it is, right? So if you see on the screen right now, there is a chart that says relative cost to fix bugs based on time detection. So if you can see here, the first one is it's close to 1 times, that is 1x. Then if you catch it in the coding phase, it is close to 6x. If you catch it in the integration phase, it is close to 11 or 12x. Now if you catch it in system acceptance testing, it is close to 18x. And if you catch it in production, that is when the end users are using it, it is close to 30 times the actual cost of fixing the bug. So you understand, as the time increases in the complete cycle, more and more cost will be there to fix that bug. So it is always better to perform the testing as early as possible in the complete IT cycle. That is principle number two, that is early testing. Now let's go to principle number three, that is defect clustering. That means, in very simple words, if you see on the screen right now with the diagram, it says 80% of software defects come from 20% modules as stated by Pareto principle. Basically, this is a principle which was given a lot of years back, that basically says that if, let's suppose, a system is 100% and you're doing the testing, 80% of the software defects will come in 20% of the functionality, right? So let's suppose in an application you have 100 functionalities. So 80% of the complete test case of the complete bugs that you encounter, right, those 80% bugs will be based out of those 20 functionalities. That is defect clustering. So majority of the test cases you will find in the minority of the functionalities. That is principle number three, which is defect clustering. Now let's go on to principle number four, that says pesticide paradox. Now, something in between. These pointers or these keywords may sound a bit overwhelming, but if you understand their meanings, they are not at all overwhelming. They're actually very easy, right? So, principle number four, that is pesticide paradox. It says executing the same test cases again and again will not find new bugs. That is, if, let's suppose, you have a set of test cases in your testing and you found the bugs and everything was done. Now, if you plan to rerun those test cases, you'll not find new bugs with the old test cases, which is obvious if you think about it. If you keep on implementing or finding the new, I mean, if you keep on finding bugs in the same manner again and again, you, of course, you'll end up finding the bugs. So it is very critical that you keep on updating the test cases to detect new bugs. That is pesticide paradox. The words can be a bit tricky, a bit technical, but if you understand the meaning, they're very easy, right? Now let's jump on to principle number five, that is testing is context dependent. In very, very simple words, there is a different way to test every application. So we cannot say that, okay, testing is easy. You know what, if you know how to test on web, you can test it easily on mobile or on iPads or any other devices for that matter. No, it is not. Every application is independent and every application needs to be tested in a different manner. So testing is context dependent. Now, next principle, which is absence of errors fallacy. That basically means that an application being 99% bug free does not ensure quality delivery. That means that you say that, okay, you know what, there is an application which has been delivered to the client, but, and we say that the application is 99% bug free. That is our claim. Great, perfect. But let's suppose if the application that you delivered did not meet the client's requirement. Just imagine this thing. The client ordered a product and you delivered a product, but, and of course the delivered product did not have many bugs as well. But think about it, even if it did not have the bugs, then also it doesn't make sense if the product is not in sync with the requirements that were given by the client, right? So that says absence of errors fallacy, that it is not sufficient that if the bugs are not there, it is sufficient. No, it's not. A system has to be in sync with the requirements provided by the client. That is when the quality delivery happens. That is the sixth principle. Now let's go on to the seventh principle, that says testing proves presence of defects. It's a very generic statement, and it is actually self-explanatory, which means if you are testing an application and if you're not finding the bugs, it's not a good thing. If you're testing it for the first time, if you're not finding bugs, it's not a good thing. That means that for sure you are missing something, you're not doing your job properly. That that definitely means it, because a testing job, or encountering bugs is a good thing, because you're doing your job correctly. And had there been developers, or had there been development practices in the industry with which there could not be any bugs or any leakages in the code, then people like you and me would be jobless, right? There is a reason why this particular QA domain was created, because it is not possible to create or develop software without leaving bugs. And that is where we come into the picture. So, testing and then finding bugs and then saying that yes, there are defects is a good thing, right? So, that is what the last principle is, that is testing proves presence of defects. Now, these are the seven testing principles in the software industry. And I hope that this explanation was correct to you. And don't worry, if you have any questions, any queries, please comment, and we assure to get back to you within 24 hours as soon as you post the question. And if you have any queries apart from that, if you could not understand anything, rewind the video, watch it, and just make sure that you know 2 to 3 principles well off, and that will suffice. So I hope that you had a good experience, and see you in upcoming videos. Thank you.